It's going well. That's the problem. The job is good. The relationship is finally calm. The thing you wanted for years is actually starting to happen. And right on cue, you do something stupid. You pick the fight. You forget the email that matters most. You stay up until 3 a.m. scrolling, so tomorrow you're useless. You reach for the one thing you swore you were done with. You watch yourself do it, and you can't stop. Here's what nobody tells you. That's not weakness. That's not a discipline problem. That's a part of you doing its job, and doing it well. By the end of this, you'll know what that part is protecting you from, why it fires hardest right when life gets good, and how to take the wheel back from it. Let's kill the story you've been told first. The story says you self-sabotage because you're lazy or broken, or you just don't want it badly enough. That story is useless, because it leaves you doing the only thing that never works, trying to hate yourself into changing. So here's a better lens. Every behavior you repeat is giving you something. If it gave you nothing, you'd have dropped it years ago. The scrolling, the picking fights, the quitting right before the finish line. It feels like it's costing you, and it is. But underneath, it's also paying you. Psychology has a name for this. Secondary gain, the hidden benefit buried inside the self-defeating behavior. And the most common payoff is the simplest one: safety. Think about it. You can't fail at the thing you never fully try. If you keep the dream in your head, polished and untouched, it stays perfect. Nobody gets to reject it. Nobody gets to laugh. The moment you actually go for it, you put it on the table where it can be judged. So a part of you keeps it off the table. It calls that protection. You call it procrastination. There's a version of this you might know too well. As long as you're still preparing, still researching, still getting ready to start, you get to keep being the person who could be great, the talented one, the one with all the potential. The second you actually ship the thing, you trade that comfortable maybe for a verdict. Maybe it's brilliant, maybe it's ordinary. And to a certain kind of person, ordinary feels like dying. So you stay in almost, forever getting ready. It feels like diligence. It's fear wearing a productive face. That's the first thing to really get. The part of you that sabotages you is not your enemy. It's on your side. It just has a terrible way of showing it. So why does it think you need protecting from good things? Because somewhere along the way, your nervous system set a thermostat, a setting for how much success, how much love, how much ease you're allowed to have before the alarm goes off. There's a psychologist named Gay Hendricks who calls this the upper limit problem. We each have an inner thermostat for how good we'll let things get, and when life pushes past that setting, we do something, anything, to cool it back down to the temperature we're used to. Last few episodes we called this the code you run, the beliefs filed below the waterline, written when you were too young to argue. This is one of those rules, and it's a big one. How good am I allowed to have it? Maybe you grew up where good news got punished, where being happy made someone else jealous or angry, so you learned to keep your head down. Maybe you were the kid who had to stay small so a parent could stay big. Maybe joy in your house was always followed by a crash, so your body learned that feeling good is the moment, right before it all goes wrong. You didn't decide any of this on purpose. A 7-year-old set the temperature, and he's still in there, adjusting it every time your life gets warmer than he thinks is safe. You've felt it kick in, even if you never had a name for it. The week after the best month of your life, you get sick, or you start a pointless argument with someone you love, or a wave of dread shows up out of nowhere, with nothing attached to it. People call that self-doubt. A lot of the time, it's just the thermostat doing its job. Things got too warm, so your system found a way to cool you back down to the temperature it calls home, even when home was never that comfortable, especially then. Now here's the part that makes self-sabotage feel like a curse. The timing. It doesn't hit when you're down. It hits when you're up, right at the edge of the thing you wanted. There's a reason for that, and it's almost mechanical. The closer you get to something you deeply want, the more there is to lose. Down low, there's no fall, but up high, near the win, the stakes are real for the first time. So the fear that was quiet, your whole climb suddenly gets loud. Want pulls you toward it. Fear shoves you back, and you freeze, or you flinch, right at the summit. And there's a second thing under it. Success means being seen. The promotion, the launch, the relationship getting real. Suddenly you're visible. And if some old part of you learned that being seen is dangerous, that standing out gets you a target on your back, that wanting too much makes you a fool, then visibility doesn't feel like a reward. It feels like exposure. So the part hits the brakes. It would rather you be safe and small than seen and at risk. And maybe you have proof it's dangerous. You watched it happen to someone. A person in your world started doing well, and the group quietly turned on them. The jokes got a little sharp. Look who thinks he's better than us now. You filed that away without realizing it. You learned that rising costs you, your people. So now, right as you're about to rise yourself, a part of you tugs you back down into the pack, where it's safe, where you belong, where nobody's aiming at you. It would rather you be liked than free. That's the cruel joke of it. The flinch you feel right before the good thing isn't a sign you're not ready. It's a sign you're close. Here's where it gets sneaky. Self-sabotage almost never looks like self-sabotage. It wears disguises, and it picks the one you'll never suspect. Watch for yours. The finish line stall. You do 90% of the work. Then you go quiet. The application sits unsent. The project is almost ready for a month. You didn't fail. You just never quite finished, so it never quite counted. The fight. Things get close with someone, intimate, real, and suddenly you find a reason to be furious with them. You're not crazy. You're creating distance because closeness is the thing that scares you, and a fight is a door you can walk out of. The numb out. The night before the thing that matters, you don't prepare. You scroll, you drink, you disappear into anything. Then you show up tired and half there, and you tell yourself you were just unlucky. The preloaded excuse. You quietly set up your own failure in advance so the result won't be about you. You go out the night before. You take on 3 things you didn't need to. You leave yourself no time. That way, if it doesn't work, it's because you were tired, or slammed, or stretched too thin. Not because you tried with everything you had, and it still wasn't enough. Psychologists call this self-handicapping. You hand yourself the excuse before the result, because the excuse hurts less than the truth might. And the cruelest disguise of all. I don't even want it anymore. Right as the thing comes into reach, you suddenly feel cold about it. The desire just drains out. That can be real, but a lot of the time that's not wisdom. That's the part of you talking you out of the want, because not wanting it is the safest way to never risk losing it. You have a signature move. One of these, maybe 2. The work isn't to judge it. The work is to know it on sight, so the next time it shows up wearing a disguise, you can say its real name. Now let's be honest about what this costs you, because the bill is bigger than a few missed chances. Every time the thermostat wins, you learn the same lie a little deeper, that you're someone things don't work out for. That you're almost, but never quite. And you file it under bad luck, bad timing, the economy, them. Jung said it cleaner than anyone. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Read that again with your own life in it. The pattern you swear you can't escape, The way it always seems to fall apart at the same point. That's not fate. That's not a curse. It's a setting running in the dark that you've never once been shown how to find. So you keep living at the temperature a frightened kid chose for you, and you call it your personality. And the cost compounds, because it isn't one missed chance. It's the same chance, refused 100 times across 10 years. The same wall, hit at the same spot, wearing a slightly different disguise each time. Hit it enough, and you start to believe the wall is just where your life ends. It isn't. It's where the thermostat is set. And a setting can be changed. That's the one thing the frightened kid never knew. So how do you actually change it? Not by declaring war on yourself. You've tried that. You can't out-discipline a part of you that's trying to keep you alive. Fight it, and it digs in harder. You don't beat the saboteur. You retire it. 4 moves. 1. Catch the tell. You already named your signature move a minute ago. Now you watch for it like a tide coming in. The urge to pick the fight, the pull to disappear the night before, the sudden, I don't care anymore. The second you can say, out loud, there it is, that's the move. You've done the hardest part. You've made it conscious. It can't drive in the dark once you've turned the light on. 2. Ask what it's protecting you from. Don't fight the urge. Get curious about it. Ask the question that actually cracks it open. What am I afraid happens if this works? Sit there until you get a real answer. And it's usually a quiet, childish one. If I succeed, they'll expect it every time. If they really see me, they'll leave. If I want it this much and lose it, I won't survive that. That answer is the whole game. Because the moment you hear it in plain words, it stops sounding like a law of the universe and starts sounding like what it actually is, an old fear in a child's voice about a world you don't live in anymore. You can't disarm a fear you won't let yourself hear. 3. Raise the thermostat slowly. Here's where last episode comes back. A belief only changes when your nervous system gets felt, evidence it's safe again and again. So when something good happens, your job is not to celebrate louder. It's to stay, to let the good thing be there without bracing for the crash, to feel safe at the new temperature for 10 seconds longer than is comfortable. That's the rep. You're not chasing a bigger high. You're teaching your body that warm doesn't mean danger. It can be small. The good email lands, and instead of firing off the next worried thought, you put the phone down and let it be true for 30 seconds. The dinner's going well, and you don't crack the joke that breaks the moment. You just let it be good. That tiny refusal to flinch, repeated, is the practice. You do it in small doses, on purpose, until the alarm stops firing. 4. And this is the one nobody warns you about. Grieve who you'd have to stop being. Staying small has an identity built around it, the one who never gets the break, the underdog, the one who was wronged. There's a strange comfort in that story, and to outgrow the sabotage, you have to let that character die. That can feel like a loss, even though it's freedom. Letting go isn't a decision you make once. It happens the moment you stop getting something out of holding on. So here's the reframe to walk away with. The part of you that blows it up isn't trying to ruin your life. It's trying to save a younger you from a danger that honestly already passed. It's a scared kid running a map of a world that doesn't exist anymore. You don't kill that part. You don't shame it. You sit down next to it, and you show it the thing it's afraid of is survivable now, that you can be seen and be okay, that you can have the good thing and not lose yourself. You become the adult in the room the kid never had. And the goal was never to stop flinching. You'll always feel that pull near the summit. That's human. The goal is to feel the flinch, recognize it, and stay anyway, to keep your hands on the wheel through the part, where you'd usually crash. Do that once, and you'll feel something strange. Not a high, just quiet. The good thing's still there, and you still in it. So here's the thing to carry. The next time it's going well and you feel that itch to wreck it, don't white-knuckle it and don't judge it. Just pause and ask, what am I afraid happens if I let this work? If you want a real way in, the free 7-day shadow work starter walks you straight into the part of you that runs this. It's linked below. And next time we go to where the thermostat got set in the first place, the child you still are underneath all this. I'll see you there.